Did you know that by the age of 60, nearly half of men will experience some form of erectile dysfunction? That's not a rare issue. It's one of the most common yet least discussed health challenges men face. And here's the hard truth: erectile dysfunction is not just about sex. It's a warning signal. Your body is telling you something about your circulation, your hormones, and even your overall vitality. Ignoring it doesn't make it go away, it makes it louder. Think about this. An erection is, at its core, a vascular event. Blood has to flow freely through your arteries to reach the penis. If those arteries are clogged, stiff, or damaged, the first place you'll notice it is in your sexual performance. That's why erectile dysfunction is often called the canary in the coal mine of cardiovascular health. In many cases, ED shows up years before a man has a heart attack or stroke. What looks like a bedroom problem may actually be a life problem. But here's where it gets even more personal. Sexual health is deeply tied to confidence, intimacy, and identity. When a man struggles with ED, it's not just the body that suffers, it's the mind. Doubt creeps in. Self-worth starts to erode. Relationships feel strained, conversations become harder, and silence replaces intimacy. And silence for many couples is more damaging than the dysfunction itself. How many men suffer in silence because they fear the shame of speaking up? How many women feel the distance but don't know how to bridge it? Now let's be clear, erectile dysfunction is not just about aging. That's the myth. Too many men throw up their hands and say, "Well, I'm getting older. This is normal." No, age is a factor, yes, but it's not destiny. Lifestyle choices like smoking, drinking, poor diet, lack of exercise, and even unmanaged stress play a far bigger role. Hormonal health matters too. Low testosterone doesn't just affect your drive, it affects your energy, your muscle, even your mood. And yes, conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate disorders can all disrupt sexual performance. But here's the empowering part: these factors are modifiable. That means change is possible. Let's talk about solutions. Regular exercise improves circulation and raises testosterone naturally. Eating a diet rich in plant-based foods, like berries, leafy greens, and nuts, actually feeds your blood vessels, keeping them flexible and strong. Managing stress lowers cortisol, which otherwise suppresses testosterone and wrecks intimacy. Even sleep, something most men overlook, is essential. Just one night of poor sleep can lower testosterone by as much as 15%. Imagine what years of neglect can do. And yes, medical options are available. Urologists today can offer everything from medications to advanced therapies that restore function. But the most powerful tool is prevention, building a lifestyle that protects your sexual health before crisis strikes. Now think about the contrast. A man who ignores the warning signs slowly shrinks, confidence fades, health declines, relationships fracture. But a man who confronts the issue, who dares to ask, "What's really happening in my body?" he reclaims his power. He turns a so-called weakness into an opportunity for transformation. His partner notices the difference, not just in the bedroom, but in his energy, his presence, his commitment to living fully. So I ask you, why wait until silence becomes regret? Why let shame dictate your health when science offers answers? Every time you choose to walk, eat clean, rest deeply, and communicate openly, you're not just protecting your sexual health. You're extending your life, preserving your masculinity, and strengthening your relationships. The truth is, this erectile dysfunction is not the end of intimacy. It's the beginning of awareness. It's your body's way of saying, "Pay attention. I want you to live longer. I want you to love deeper." And the men who listen, who act, who refuse to settle, they don't just survive, they thrive. Because here's the mic drop truth: a healthy erection is not just a sign of sexual function, it's a sign of a healthy man. And that is worth fighting for. Here's something that might shock you: 1 in 7 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. And yet, when it comes to prostate health, most men don't think about it until there's already a problem. We treat the prostate like it's invisible, until it robs us of our sleep, our confidence, or even our intimacy. But here's the truth: the prostate is small, about the size of a walnut, but it plays a massive role in your sexual health, your fertility, and your long-term vitality. Ignoring it is like ignoring the foundation of your house. It might look fine today, but cracks are forming underneath. Let's break this down. The prostate produces the fluid that nourishes and protects sperm. That means without a healthy prostate, fertility takes a hit. But beyond reproduction, the prostate sits right next to the bladder and urethra. When it enlarges, condition called benign prostatic hyperplasia or BPH, it squeezes the urinary tract, leading to problems like frequent urination, weak stream, and disrupted sleep. And here's where it gets even more personal. When you're up 3 times a night rushing to the bathroom, you're not just losing sleep, you're losing testosterone production, energy, and even your desire for intimacy. Over time, this isn't just a medical problem, it's a relationship problem. Fatigue replaces connection, irritability replaces affection, and silence replaces communication. Now let's tackle the myth many men believe prostate problems are inevitable with age. That's not true. Yes, risk increases with age, but lifestyle plays a huge role in prevention and management. Research shows diets high in processed meats and dairy increase the risk of prostate enlargement and cancer. On the flip side, foods rich in lycopene, like tomatoes, can lower risk. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and kale activate natural detox pathways that protect the prostate. Regular exercise improves hormone balance and blood flow, while obesity doubles the risk of aggressive prostate disease. So it's not just age, it's how you live. But let's go deeper. The psychological impact of prostate issues is enormous. Imagine the man who avoids intimacy because he fears leakage or erectile problems. Imagine the partner who feels rejected but doesn't know why. Silence builds walls, and those walls grow higher with each unspoken night. This is why prostate health is not just a urological issue. It's an emotional, relational, and psychological issue. And the tragedy is that most men don't talk about it until it's too late. Here's the empowering part: you have more control than you think. Start by listening to your body. If you notice changes in your urinary habits, don't brush it off. See a doctor. Screenings like PSA tests can catch problems early when they're most treatable. Second, build a prostate protective diet. Tomatoes, berries, green tea, and omega-3 rich fish are all proven allies. Third, protect your hormones. Get quality sleep, manage stress, and stay active. Even something as simple as a brisk 30-minute walk daily can lower your risk. And finally, communicate. Talk to your partner. Talk to your doctor. Talking doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger because it gives you options. Think about the contrast. A man who ignores his prostate health might face not just sleepless nights, but erectile dysfunction, incontinence, or even cancer. His world shrinks physically, emotionally, sexually. But the man who takes charge of his prostate health expands his life. He sleeps better, performs better, feels stronger, and shows up more fully in his relationships. He transforms from silently suffering to boldly thriving. So let me ask you, what's more masculine, pretending nothing is wrong, or taking charge of the very gland that controls your vitality and your intimacy? Real strength isn't in denial. Real strength is in action. And here's the mic drop truth. Protecting your prostate isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years, in the bedroom, in your health, and in every relationship you value. Here's something most people won't tell you: 1 in 3 women over the age of 50 experiences urinary incontinence, and millions of men struggle silently with weak pelvic floor muscles after prostate surgery or years of neglect. Yet hardly anyone talks about it, because it's embarrassing, because it feels unmanly or unfeminine, because we've been trained to think bladder control is something we simply lose with age. But here's the reality: pelvic floor health is not just about controlling urine. It's about sexual function, confidence, and quality of life. Ignore it, and you risk losing far more than comfort. You risk losing intimacy, independence, and even dignity. The pelvic floor is a hidden powerhouse. It's a network of muscles that supports your bladder, bowel, and reproductive organs. When it's strong, it allows for control, stamina, and pleasurable sexual experiences. But when it's weak, the consequences ripple through your life. For men, a weak pelvic floor can lead to erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, or post-surgery leakage. For women, it often means stress, incontinence, vaginal laxity, or discomfort during intimacy. Now imagine the emotional weight: the man who avoids sex because he's afraid of losing control, the woman who laughs less because she fears leakage. These are not just physical issues, they're deeply human issues that erode confidence and closeness. So let's shatter the myth: urinary incontinence and sexual decline are not inevitable with age. They are common, yes, but they are not destiny. Weakness in the pelvic floor happens when we sit too much, neglect exercise, ignore weight gain, or never learn how to activate these muscles. And here's the kicker: most people don't even know where their pelvic floor is, let alone how to strengthen it. We treat the heart, the lungs, the biceps, but the muscles that determine whether we live with confidence or with shame, they're left in the shadows. Now let's talk solutions. Science has shown that pelvic floor training, yes, the famous Kegel exercises, works for both men and women. Done correctly, they improve bladder control, enhance blood flow, and even intensify orgasms. But it doesn't stop there. Yoga, pilates, and strength training all engage the core and pelvic floor. Nutrition matters too. Hydration, high-fiber diets, and maintaining a healthy weight reduce the strain that weakens these muscles. And for those facing medical challenges, today's urology offers advanced therapies, from biofeedback to minimally invasive surgeries, that restore function and confidence. But let's zoom in on the psychology. When someone takes control of their pelvic floor health, they take control of more than just their body. They reclaim the ability to laugh without fear, to sleep through the night without interruption, to show up fully in intimacy without shame. That kind of confidence radiates. It transforms relationships. It reminds your partner that you're not retreating from life, you're leaning into it. And trust me, nothing is more attractive than someone who refuses to let silence or stigma dictate their health. Contrast the two paths. One leads to avoidance, avoiding intimacy, avoiding social events, avoiding conversations. The other leads to empowerment, strengthening muscles, opening dialogue, investing in self-care. One shrinks your world, the other expands it. Which path will you choose? Here's the tough truth: pretending these issues don't exist only makes them worse. Every year you wait, the muscles weaken further, the confidence erodes faster, and the relationships strain deeper. But here's the hopeful truth: the pelvic floor can be trained at any age. Even at 70 or 80, improvement is possible. Your body is designed to adapt when you give it the right signals. That's not just medicine, that's biology working in your favor. So let me leave you with this: a strong pelvic floor is not just about bladder control, it's about freedom. Freedom to move, freedom to connect, freedom to live without fear of embarrassment. And the science is clear: strengthen your pelvic floor, and you strengthen your health, your relationships, and your very sense of self. Because here's the mic drop truth: the muscles you can't see are often the ones that define the quality of the life you live. And it's never too late to start training them. Here's a truth that makes people uncomfortable. Kidney stones are one of the most painful conditions a person can experience, and yet they are almost entirely preventable. Every year, more than 500,000 people end up in emergency rooms because of them. And the shocking part: once you get one, your risk of having another skyrockets unless you change your habits. Kidney stones are not just about pain. They are about neglect. They are a crystal clear signal that what you drink, what you eat, and how you live are writing the future of your health. Let's talk about what's happening inside your body. Your kidneys are two hard-working filters, cleaning your blood 24 hours a day, every single day of your life. When the balance of minerals, salts, and fluids is disrupted, crystals can form. Over time, those crystals harden into stones. Most are made of calcium oxalate, triggered by high-salt diets, too much animal protein, dehydration, and even excessive supplements. The result: a jagged stone trying to pass through the delicate urinary tract. The pain can be so intense it's often compared to childbirth. But here's the bigger picture. Kidney stones aren't just a stone problem. They're linked to higher risks of chronic kidney disease, infections, and even long-term kidney failure. Now think about the psychology of it. A person with kidney stones doesn't just suffer physically. They live with the fear of it happening again. They second-guess every glass of water, every bite of food. The pain leaves an imprint on the brain, a reminder of vulnerability. For men, that fear can translate into anxiety about their masculinity. How do you stay strong when a stone can drop you to your knees? For women, it can mean a silence around suffering, not wanting to appear weak. In both cases, relationships take the hit. A partner may not fully understand the agony, the fatigue, or the emotional weight of anticipating another episode. Pain isolates, and isolation damages connection. Here's the myth we need to destroy. Kidney stones are random, like lightning strikes. They're not. The science is clear. Lifestyle makes the difference. People who stay chronically dehydrated, who overuse salt, who rely heavily on processed food, are creating the perfect storm inside their kidneys. And yet, the flip side is just as powerful. People who hydrate, who balance calcium and oxalate foods, who eat more fruits and vegetables, can cut their risk in half. Your daily choices matter more than your genetics. So how do you take control? Start with the simplest medicine: water. Most people underestimate how much fluid their kidneys need. Aim for at least 2 to 3 liters a day, enough so your urine runs clear, not dark yellow. Second, reduce sodium. High salt intake forces calcium into your urine, fueling stone formation. Third, eat smart. Citrus fruits like lemons and oranges contain citrate, a natural stone blocker. Leafy greens, berries, and whole grains provide the balance your body craves. Fourth, move your body. Exercise improves metabolism, hormone balance, and circulation, all of which protect your kidneys. And yes, if you've already had stones, work with a urologist. They can analyze the type of stone and tailor a prevention plan specifically for you. The contrast is striking. On one side, a life of repeated ER visits, sleepless nights, and fear of the next attack. On the other, a life of freedom, hydrated, energized, unburdened by the threat of pain. One path shrinks your world into cycles of suffering. The other expands your world with confidence and control. Which will you choose? Here's the tough love. Waiting until a kidney stone forms before caring about your kidneys is like waiting for a heart attack before caring about your heart. Prevention is not optional, it's survival. And here's the hope: every glass of water, every plate of fresh food, every walk outside is a vote for your kidneys, your health, your future. So let me leave you with this: kidney stones may feel like punishment, but they are actually an invitation. An invitation to care, to change, to choose life over pain. And the mic drop truth is this: the best time to protect your kidneys is before they cry out in agony. Because once they do, you'll realize nothing matters more than the freedom of being pain-free. Here's a truth most people are too uncomfortable to admit: sexually transmitted infections are rising faster among people over 50 than in any other age group. Yes, you heard that right. We tend to think of STIs as something that only affect the young, but the data tells a very different story. Divorce, dating apps, and longer lifespans have created new opportunities for intimacy, but without the same culture of safe sex that younger generations grew up with. And the consequences are serious. Chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, and even HIV are all on the rise in older adults. It's not about age, it's about awareness, and too many people are living without it. Let's break down what's happening biologically. As we age, our immune systems weaken, a process called immunosenescence. That means infections can spread more easily and take longer to clear. For women, hormonal changes after menopause can thin vaginal tissue, making it more vulnerable to tears and infections. For men, untreated prostate or urinary issues can complicate recovery from an STI. And because symptoms are often milder, or mistaken for other age-related problems, many people don't even realize they're infected until complications appear. Infections can damage fertility, increase cancer risk, and worsen chronic illnesses. What starts as a hidden infection can spiral into a life-altering condition. But the biological story is only half of it. The psychology is just as powerful. Think about the stigma. A man in his 60s might feel embarrassed to buy condoms, believing they're for young people. A woman might avoid asking a new partner about sexual history, afraid of being judged. Silence takes over, and silence is dangerous. The less we talk, the less we protect ourselves. And relationships suffer when fear, secrecy, or mistrust creep in. Confidence shrinks, intimacy feels risky, and what should be a source of joy becomes a source of anxiety. Now let's challenge the myths. Myth number 1: STIs don't happen at my age. False. In fact, they're more common now than ever. Myth number 2: If I can't get pregnant, I don't need protection. Wrong again. Fertility and infection are two very different things. Myth number 3. If I feel fine, I must be fine. No. Many STIs can be silent for months, even years, before revealing their damage. These myths are not harmless. They are dangerous blindfolds keeping people from protecting their health. Here's the empowering truth: protection works. No matter your age, condoms reduce risk dramatically. Regular STI screenings can catch infections early when they're most treatable. Open communication with partners builds trust and safety instead of fear. And lifestyle choices matter too. A strong immune system, fueled by good sleep, balanced nutrition, exercise, and stress management, makes your body more resilient against infections. It's about building a foundation of health that supports not just your sexual vitality, but your whole being. Now let's raise the stakes. Imagine two futures. In one, a man ignores protection, avoids testing, and lives with a hidden infection that damages his health and strains his relationship. His world becomes smaller, more secrets, more fear, more silence. In the other, he chooses courage. He talks openly, gets tested regularly, and takes charge of his health. His intimacy is not diminished by safety, it's amplified by trust. His partner feels valued, respected, protected. Which man lives more fully? Which man is truly stronger? The contrast is undeniable. Neglect leads to shame, while awareness leads to freedom. And freedom is what intimacy is supposed to feel like. So here's the tough love: sexual health does not retire at 50. It doesn't retire at 60. It doesn't retire at all. As long as you're alive and capable of intimacy, your responsibility to protect yourself and your partner remains. The science is clear, the solutions are available, and the choice is yours. Because here's the mic drop truth: safe sex isn't just about avoiding disease. It's about preserving dignity, protecting love, and proving that intimacy can be both passionate and responsible at any age.